Hi there, and welcome to another day in September when we are going to be hearing from an amazing woman, her heartfelt story of life transformation, as we do every day in September. I am Jan Copeland, real estate coach for women with the Livy Girl Success Boutique and the curator of the Facebook group Girls Guide to Outrageous Real Estate Success. And today I have an amazing woman and my friend, Jacki Metcalf. And Jacki is an agent who is, I don't know, I'm going to call her agent extraordinaire and also broker extraordinaire. And I'm going to let her share her story, and then I'll probably chime in at the end. But welcome, Jacki. How are you today?
Hello. So excited to be here. I don't know about extraordinaire. It's like, wow, I want to meet her.
Oh, you are. Well, take it away, Jacki. You tell us, whatever you want to share.
Okay, so when I thought about stories of transformation, I thought about what I call the Wizard of Oz effect. And what that means is that God has a way of preparing us along the way, and everything that we think that we needed is already inside of us. And so I just want to share a couple of points in my story so you can kind of see exactly what I mean by that. So I am from California, the Bay Area, and I moved to the South. I live in South Haven, Mississippi, which is about 5 minutes from Memphis, Tennessee. So vastly different area, different concepts, different lifestyle. I mean, you couldn't go to two different ends of the spectrum any different than what I have. And so when I moved here, I had always wanted to be in real estate. I just felt like it was a calling of mine, but where I lived was astronomically expensive. I don't know if you guys know about Silicon Valley, but I mean, I have friends that are, renting a 1-bedroom apartment for $2,700, so it's very expensive. And so to strike out and do real estate, it just didn't seem like an option for me. So when I relocated here, I thought, yay, now is my opportunity. So when we decided to move here, I had done a little stint with selling insurance, which was not for me, okay? But what that experience taught me of 6 months was it taught me how to acquire leads, find leads, and you got to remember, this is in '05. This is pre, Facebook and Zillow and all of these things. It's like you had to go out, grind, and find your own leads, right? And so I just hated the sale of insurance. I didn't like it, and I just thought to myself, when I get to Memphis, I'm going to do real estate. So I got here, got licensed, and got in with an awesome broker and was ready to go. And I was like, okay, what do I do? So he said, well, you got to go find your own leads. And I said, okay, I can do that. Why? Because that job that I hated taught me how to do that, and I didn't even realize it was preparing me for that. So with that being said, my first full year of real estate, I sold 30 houses, which was ridiculous, right? From a girl that wasn't from here, didn't know people here. I didn't have a sphere. Right? A lot of people, when they start with their high school people and their kids, friends, mothers, and all that. I didn't have any of that. So to come in and sell that many houses, you got to know your girl was hustling, right? So I just thank God, because that pre-training that I didn't even know that I had, he knew already the steps that I needed to take. So that being said, now I'm in real estate, and I'm, doing my thing. I'm pretty consistent. I get to a different broker. Fast forward 8, 9, 10 years later, I get in with a different broker who I also love, right? He's a young millennial. He got all of these great ideas. And, here it is, I'm thinking, okay, great. I'm going to be able to grow my business in a different way. I absolutely love it. So he is so encouraging with me, right? I've gotten my broker's license, but I haven't decided to use it yet. I just wanted to be prepared. And so I got my broker's license, and he's like, well, if you ever want to do some training at the office, you can do that. I said, really? Now, I'm just super excited. So I put together all of these things on training programs and what I wanted to do. And he said, you know what? I think I'm going to start having sales meetings. You can run those. And I thought, wow, I get to do this. I love my broker. It's going to be fabulous, right? That's what I'm thinking. And so I'm just, putting this together, and I'm thinking, this is just what I needed to give me like that breath of fresh air. Because sometimes when you're in real estate and you're doing the same thing, money's not a motivator anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're looking for that next thing. So I decided, you know what? I'm feeling really good about this. I think I'm going to get me a business coach. That's what I thought, right? Looked around for a business coach, found two awesome ladies. I wonder who that is. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to bite this bullet and I'm going to invest in myself. And I have all of these great things working, right? I've got, this piece to grow my business. I've got a platform to where I can now teach others how to be great. And I can do all of these things. Woohoo! And I signed my agreement with these two amazing ladies, and I'm going to be a part of that unstoppable inner circle on Monday. And Thursday, he calls a meeting and says, guess what? I am merging, selling, whatever you want to call it, the firm, and our firm will be no more, and we are going to go under this big umbrella of another company. I don't want to say what it is. So I really felt some type of way. It really just took the wind out of my sail, and I started to panic, right? Because here's this great platform that I loved that is being snatched away from me. I almost felt like it was a marriage and we were happy and he went to work and came home and said, we're getting a divorce. That's how I kind of felt a little bit. And now panic set in because I just signed this great contract with these business coaches and I don't even know where I'm going to be working, right? So in this moment, what ends up happening to all of us, right? When change happens and you don't expect it, fear, anticipation, you're scared, you don't know what you're going to do, you don't know how this is, it turns your world completely upside down. Okay, excuse me. And so in that moment, I didn't know what to do, right? I had all of these great opportunities 5 minutes ago, and now I feel like I don't even know what I'm going to do tomorrow when I wake up. So in that, it took a lot of prayer. It took a lot of really having some hard talks with myself. And I remembered that at the end of the day, our steps are ordered, right? And sometimes God will put you in a position to step out and he will slowly nudge you, right? And when you don't listen, he's just going to push you out there. So in that moment, I decided to open my own firm, and I was sitting on that broker's license, right, for over a year that I felt being led to get, right? And all of those things that I created for my old broker with the type of sales meetings I wanted to have and the type of mentoring I wanted to do, guess what? That was all preparation for my own firm. And I couldn't see that, right? When you're in it, when it's happening to you, you can't even imagine your next step. But what you don't realize is it's already in you. You already have it. And what's it? You already, if this is your business, right? And it may not be real estate. It may be Tupperware. It may be Avon. Maybe Initial Zinc. It may be daycare. Whatever that it is, God has placed everything you need inside of you. You just don't realize it until you have to rise to the occasion. So here we are. I opened up in January. That bomb dropped on me in November of 2018. December, I went and opened, got all my paperwork incorporated. January, I was open for business. We are now in September. I haven't really recruited yet, but I have 7 other agents underneath me that have just found me, just hit me up and said, hey, Jacki, are you recruiting? So I haven't even recruited yet, and God has already supplied some agents for me. I have a beautiful office. I could go on and on and on. I don't want to tie up so much of your time, but God has just showed himself mighty. And I guess if I can't express anything other to you today than the fact that everything that you desire to do, that you feel that God has placed within you, you can do it. You can do it. Even though it seems that it's a big feat, even though it's a big dream, even though you don't know how you're going to get there, I promise you, if you take that first step, he will meet you where you are, and he will continue to guide you through your journey. So I just want to encourage everyone out there that you can do it.
I love it. Jacki, okay. So yes, Judy, my twin sister, and I are the business coaches, just so there's no question about it. And we're so thankful that you selected us. Okay, I have a few things.
Okay.
I want to mention that you didn't skip a beat with your business, with your own business, because that's a major thing. I mean, you know, to like you said, move to a new market, you know, from California where the cost of living and just everything, the whole, like you said, lifestyle is so different than in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
So you did 30 deals your first year. Hello, that's an extraordinaire. Okay, that's without question,
Crazy.
without Facebook, without social media, man. And you didn't know a sphere. So that in and of itself is realtor extraordinaire. What makes you broker extraordinaire is that, you know, you're talking about something very amazing in that, you know, you got your broker's license, you sat on it for a year, you were very patient. And also I think you were very, whether it was cognitive or not, whether you did it on purpose or not, you were kind of waiting. Like, I don't think it was out of fear that you didn't start your own brokerage. I think it's more, it was your decision, right? And so I think that it's worthy to share here that you didn't skip a beat with your own business. In other words, you didn't, you know, when this poop hit the fan, you know, and you and I had long discussions about it, and I'm sure you did, like you said, with your self-searching and other people too,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't go broke in the midst of this chaotic time, right? You kept your business moving. And I think that that's important for women, you know, because that's who's going to be watching this, to really realize that the first inclination is you freak, right? Everybody
Absolutely.
does. But you still had to put butter on your bread, meat on the table. And so I just want to give you accolades that you didn't skip a beat.
Thank you. Yeah, very true. And in reality, I feel like you made a really good point with me sitting on my license. I always felt the draw to get my license. And most people would say, well, when you got your broker's license, why didn't you strike out and do it then? I just didn't feel led to.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I just didn't feel like it was my time. So when that opportunity presented itself, I was already prepared, but I didn't know it, right? If I didn't have my broker's license and this big change happened, I wouldn't have a choice, right? Whether I chose to go with that broker or another one, I could never have opened my own firm, right? But it was that I set up, and you know, God is amazing. I did not skip a beat. I still close consistently high numbers. I'm even now, I still sell. You know what I mean? I'm not a broker that just sits in the office. I'm still out there. I'm still selling, and it's still, you know, business still goes on. So
it's amazing. And so really kudos to that. And I think what you just said, I just want to reiterate that, is that how beautifully everything fell in place for you, Jacki. There was a reason for that. Number one, God ordained, and you listen. Number two, but also number three, you're open to it. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're saying God put the desire in your heart, which is why you got your broker's license in the first place, right? But I feel like the fact that you haven't actively even recruited yet, right?
No, I haven't.
And that's when you know it's a real affirmation from God that this is it. This is your time. Because when people seek you out,
right?
My gosh, I mean, there are brokers who, I mean, I have a client who's a broker who I'm helping recruit, okay? Just got her as a client maybe a month and a half ago, and I'm helping her recruit, and it's difficult. So please understand that this is a real confirmation. And I know you know that, but I want all the ladies who watch this to understand that sometimes when we're patient and act when God is nudging us, man, he's going to make a way that we're just in awe of, which is really cool.
You can't even, and look, can I just say one little thing right there, Dan? I just want to be clear to whoever is watching this. I was scared, ladies. I don't want to make it seem like, oh, I'm just so strong in my faith that God spoke that word to me and I just stepped out there and let me tell you, it was paralyzing fear. I still, to this day, you know, work super, super hard, but I still, you know, have my moments when I'm like, okay, am I supposed to be doing this? I mean, how is this going to work out? I mean, this is still coming at me. So I just want to be very clear, because we always make it seem like, you know, when we do step out or when you do go about this, that it's going to be easy and you're not going to be scared and you're not going to not wonder. But you can do it on the inside, you know you can, but it's frightening.
Yeah.
And if it was easy, everybody would do it. Let me say that too. You know what I mean? It's still scary. So, and that's why it's so important to surround yourself, right, with such a great influence of people, of women, of business owners that can encourage you along this journey.
Absolutely. I actually wrote down here, tell us how scared you were. I was going to
I was freaked out.
Because, you know, you said when you were sharing with us, you said my world was turned upside down. And you said the opportunities that I thought I had 5 minutes ago were gone.
It's true.
And that's it. And so I'm so glad you brought that up. But I was going to say, how scared were you? Because we do it afraid. And that's one of our mantras. Do it afraid. Do it afraid.
Do it afraid.
Perfectly is better than not done at all, right?
Right. Exactly.
All right. And then the last thing that you said that I had written down that I just wanted to reiterate was you said that it was an unexpected change, right? Mm-hmm. And so how does the human condition feel when change is involved? We all hate it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So speak to, like, you kind of spoke to, I just wanted you to just reiterate and share, like, when you were in this thought process, I know you called me and you probably talked to your family and, you know, everything, but like, what was the, what do you think was the main determinant factor that said, I'm going to put the stake in the ground and I'm moving forward and becoming my own broker, opening my own firm? What do you think that was?
Truthfully and full transparency, I felt like I was making myself a crazy lady. Right? Because when this happened and all of that fear set in and anxiety, right? It took me all the way back to a childhood kind of place. You know what I mean? Like, what if I can't do it? What if I get agents that work with me and I can't keep the doors open? What if I, step out here and I can't do this or I can't do that? Or what if I'm just not good enough? How many times do we struggle with that, right? Now, it sounds crazy when you look back on it, but when you're in it, it feels very real, right? Yeah. Like, what if I'm not good enough? And so I really had to just talk to myself. And I finally just got to that moment to where I said, you know what, Jackie? What book was I reading? I wish I can think of the name of that book. But basically what it says is that you have to look at things and take the worst case scenario that you can come up with. And if that happens, then what? Right? So I was thinking to myself, okay, what's the worst thing that can happen? I open my own firm, I can't cut it, and I can't keep the doors open. Right? That's the worst thing that can happen. So I was thinking, okay, if that happens, then what? There's not a broker in town that wouldn't want me. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of people fail before they succeed. Okay. Now what? It was almost like it was a no-brainer. Do you know what I mean? It was like all of those things that I was struggling with, it didn't even matter. And I just thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to step out there. And if I fail, I fail. And if I swim, I swim. But it won't be because I didn't try. Right? It won't be because this opportunity is there and I was too scared to take it. I don't want to live a life of I shoulda, coulda, woulda. I want to be able to say I stepped out there and I felt like God was leading me to do it. And so I'm just going to step out and do it. And we're just going to watch and see what happens.
Oh, I love it. Jackie, thank you so much for that, because it's pride. This is what I heard. The what ifs that you mentioned were like, I might be embarrassed if I don't make it, then I'd have to close the doors. But then you thought, but wait, I'm still valuable because any broker in town would want me.
Absolutely.
And so pride, I believe, after coaching hundreds of women, really women especially, let pride get in the way. And I just hope they're encouraged as they hear your awesome story, Jackie, because pride it gets in the way of progress. Pride gets in the way of seeing all that you could be. Because think about, whether you like him or hate him, Donald Trump, bankrupt, whether you like him or hate him, Gary Vaynerchuk or V, he was bankrupt. I mean, so many people that have gone on to great success have been bankrupt. So I love your what if scenario. Guess what? What if, right?
Absolutely.
And so there's always the only way, and if you hit rock bottom, which praise God you didn't, but you can always go up from there. So I think that is just amazing advice. And I wish you could see my eyes, because I have this stupid sty as I'm recording this, and I didn't want to have perpetuity wherever this video is going to be seen that way. But my eyes, the reason I say that is because I know Jacki since last October, and I love her. She is a go-getter. She's a get-it-done kind of woman, and she's a single mom, and I was a single mom for a time, and I just can't say enough girls about you, Jacki. And I know that all the women who watch this, I don't care if it's 5 years from now, okay? Whenever they watch it, it's going to be God ordained, and I know that it's going to encourage someone. So thank you for being vulnerable enough, Jacki, to share your amazing story with us.
Thank you so much for having me, and I just want to say a blessing for every woman that sees this video, that God blesses your business exceedingly, abundantly, more than you can ever ask or think.
There you go. Thank you, ladies.
All right, thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.